Timing will start once I click on this Chimps badge. So we'll do that in 3, 2, 1, start. So this map, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to go through over the maps in kind of reverse difficulty. What it is so you can kind of see. So here we have these balloons that are showing up. The balloons kind of get stronger as you go on throughout the game. We're placing down some preliminary towers, and as you kind of pop these balloons, you make money. And then you can use the money to buy more towers or buy upgrades for these towers. So we'll see very soon. I'll buy one upgrade here. This is a tier 1 upgrade. You can go up to tier 5. Basically, there's an upgrade path that you go through. And you can also cross path it with 2 tiers. But basically what we're going to try to do is next we have our kind of preliminary towers. Then what we're going to try to do is get down to hero. So all of these upgrades you see that we have, they cost money. But if you have your hero, so your hero is very nice because your hero upgrades without spending any money. So you can see here, Etienne starts at level 1. Then after this round is over, he's going to go to level 2 and get more powerful. So the hero kind of levels up as you sort of go. Without spending money, so they provide a ton of value. So you really want to be using a hero in these games whenever possible, especially on these harder maps. So the hero also has something called an ability, so I can like press this button, and so you can see that it creates this guy. So this guy's Etienne. His spiel is that he has a lot of he's a drone operator. He has these drones that fly around and pop balloons. And so what this ability does is it creates more drones that pop up without, for a small amount of time. So it'll increase the amount of DPS he can do. So that's pretty cool. All heroes have similar kinds of abilities. We'll see different heroes later. Yeah, so now what we're doing is we're trying to basically prepare our early game. With our hero, we have these dart monkeys, and then we're trying to basically upgrade this submarine in order to kind of go through the early game. The early game generally it's considered to go up to round 40. So we're trying to get kind of enough towers to kind of get us to round 40 and then past it. So round 40 is kind of the first like real difficulty spike of like the kind of like a Chimps playthrough. So that we have our sub as our kind of one of our main early game attackers, and then the next one we're gonna get is this boomerang. So this boomerang is kind of a fun tower. We're gonna get a glaive ricochet. You're not gonna see it super well here, but basically it throws these glaives that bounce around across all of the balloons. It's actually really fun to do. So you see here that now there's like different types of balloons that get stronger, and then here in this case, like some of the balloons are camouflaged, so they can't be popped by towers unless the towers themselves have camo detection. So one thing about this hero Etienne is that he eventually, when he gets to level 8, he'll grant all monkeys on screen camo detection, which is nice. That's not really the main reason why we're using him. The other thing is that all the towers in his range actually get more range as well, which is the main reason why we're using him here. We're going to place a tower that we really want to have a lot of range in the late game. So so round 40, what that is that's, so you have these normal balloons, some lead, some whatnot, but then round 40 you have a blimp that comes, which is actually very strong. So the way that we're going to try to pop it down is we have this armor-piercing dart, which excels at breaking out the outer layer. We have this ability we have our hero's ability, and we have this boomerang here to pop down the insides. So that's that. That's how that's gonna work. So we're gonna now set up our middle game, now that we've got past the early game. So what our middle game is going to be our middle game is going to transition into our late game as well. So we have this spike factory that's going to be more of our late game. It's going to also be a little bit of middle game RNG prevention, but it's not going to be like our main thing. What we're going to get next is an ice monkey. So ice monkeys can actually be placed on both land and water now, but the reason why we're getting it is because you're able to basically, with this middle path, you're able to freeze water, and then when you freeze water, you can actually put things on top of the water, or land towers on top of the water. So we're going to put this glue gunner here, and this glue gunner is going to be our kind of main mid-game tower, and our late game, and also a late game damage dealer. The glue gunner is a really good support tower generally. But we're actually going to use this glue gunner as a damage tower, because if you go with the top path, the top path actually causes the glue to do damage. Otherwise, all the glue does is it slows down balloons. So and you can, yeah, the glue will coat balloons with glue and then gradually dissolve them, or as you upgrade it more, it'll much more quickly dissolve them. So we get the balloon liquefier, and then this is an alchemist. Alchemists are actually incredibly important in this game. It's kind of hard to overstate how important they are. Especially, particularly this top path one, the Berserker Brew. What that does is that gives a potion to towers, which makes them quite a bit stronger. So if you ever need like a cheap way of making a bunch of towers a lot better, you could just give it an alchemist and then it'll become a lot better. And so now kind of the theme of these expert chimps maps is we set up our early game to try to get through round 40, then we transition into kind of a separate middle game. So you see, we don't really care that much about our early game towers anymore. We're just setting up our middle game and then trying to transition into a late game. And then late game is basically after round 80. We try to upgrade our towers to be able to handle those rounds beyond and beyond. But in the meantime, like our next tower that we're going to try to do is the balloon solver, which is very expensive, or not very expensive, but pretty expensive, and it's going to take a while to be able to handle that. Oh, Etienne has this second ability, this UCAV, which basically it has this big drone that shoots everything and does quite a bit of damage, so that's nice. And then round 63 is kind of the next hard round, because in these previous rounds we have a mix of blimps and regular balloons, and we've kind of set up our defenses for that. Or if you're kind of just setting up your defenses for that, you're going to end up then struggling to round 63, which only has a bunch of ceramic rushes. Ceramics are very strong balloons, and having a rush of them is just, it requires kind of a different defense sometimes than handling a bunch of blimps. So, but this this glue gunner is kind of built to handle that, so that's kind of nice. But then basically we're going to now just kind of be using our abilities to keep things at bay and saving up for the balloon solver for the next few rounds, so this would actually be a good time for donations. Alright, so we can kind of see this, we're going to upgrade the Balloon Solver pretty soon. You'll kind of see that it kills regular balloons quite a bit faster than the previous upgrade, so it's actually quite a big improvement. So next up, we're going to get this, upgrade the spike factor. This is going to be kind of our next tower. It's going to also be our main, one of our main damage dealers in the late game. Right now, all it's doing is it's putting spikes here. We have the Moab Shredder, so it does more damage to Moabs, but what we're going to do is we're going to try to make it so that the spikes actually cover the entire map, which will actually be a pretty big deal to do damage-wise. So we'll see here. So we're gonna get the Spike Storm. What the Spike Storm does is it doesn't change anything about this tower except give it an ability, and this ability lets it cover the entire map with these spikes. And as a result, so if you have these Moabs or these red and blue blimps, we'll pop the outer layer pretty quickly with them. And so then when you play Bloons Tower to 6, or if you hear about Bloons Tower Defense 6, you're going to hear about synergies a lot. And basically synergies are... The synergy here is that this spike factory will pop the outer layers of Moabs, and this balloon solver will basically clean up all of the balloons inside. It'll just pop all of them down. So... when you try to think about in terms of synergies, that's kind of what you're thinking about. And so yeah, so now what we're gonna do is wait for our next difficulty spike, which transitions into the late game, which is round 80. So you saw there were blue blimps, there's red blimps, and then we're gonna finally see our first green blimp, which is called the ZOMG. Those are really, really powerful. They have a lot of HP. They're actually pretty hard to pop quickly, but the Spike Storm will do that pretty well. And then, I guess another thing I didn't mention is that sometimes on some rounds you get fortified Moabs. So these fortified, they basically are just like regular blimps, except they have twice as much HP. So there we go. ZMG gets popped down fairly quickly with the Spike Storm. Now in the 80s and 90s, so we've transitioned into the late game, so there's going to be a lot more Moabs. It's going to actually be very dense. So we're going to have to use our abilities until we get our next upgrade. So the next upgrade is Carpet Spike. So the Spike Storm, the ability we have to activate manually by clicking this ability or using a hotkey. But what Carpet Spike says is it'll actually end up activating that ability passively every few seconds, which is pretty nice. So we'll see an example here. So first, for these guys, we're going to activate this ability actively. Then we'll do this, which basically now we'll start activating this passively every once in a while. So here, and then there we go. So that's it's kind of a powerful tower. It's not actually as strong as you would think. We're going to still need some extra damage and support, which is something. Alright, now we're gonna get a Mermonkey. So what this Mermonkey does, it actually does a very good job with making the spike factory better. So it increases the stats of it. So it's actually very much worth getting to help buff the spike factory, and does like it also like slows down some balloons a little bit. Well, next we're going to get kind of an unusual tower, which is, well, this one's not unusual. This is the unstable concoction, but then we're also going to get, we're going to upgrade this tower to something that's not usually seen on this. Oh, and I got this Bloom Sabotage, which is actually one of the best abilities in the game. It slows down balloons, and so we have these towers. You don't really, these blimps, you don't really see them. They're called DDTs. They have black and lead properties. So they're actually, and they move very fast. They're very difficult to deal with a lot of the time, except with Carpetus spikes. They're actually very easy to deal with. And you can see round 97 has these fortified guys. They're not really that big of a deal. Alright, and then round 100 is this big purple guy, which is... usually pretty hard to deal with. This guy takes a lot of this guy can take a lot of damage, but